Welcome! This is Christmas Swing by Django, and if you want to skip ahead to the melody, you can just click the annotation, but we'll start off with the chords. And this is a G6-9, that's the first chord. When I'm saying the names of those chords, I'm referring to the shape I make. I might not necessarily play all the notes. Just so you know, you don't have to play all the colorings and such. You can just play the first 3 or 4. Usually sounds best if you keep it simple. And after the G6-9, you go to the E-flat 9. And then you can go back to the G6-9. And then a D9. A small variation of those chords that I prefer to do is a G6-9, E-flat 9, and then instead of going back to the G6-9, I make a first inversion where I have the third, the major third, in the on the lower E string, and I make a G major 7 with the low B in the bass. And then you can just take your second and third finger and move them down on half step, which I suppose makes a B flat -6 sharp 5, or something to that effect, and then down to a D9 with the A in the bass, which is, as you might recognize, the same shape and same notes as the E-6 to the regular D9, and then back to the G6-9. So the whole thing would sound, the whole first half or the first A part, I guess, should sound something like this. And then back to the D9 for the turnaround. And you can just experiment. You might just want to play and not do that chord at all. And for the second A part, you do the same thing, but you stay on the G6-9 for the last bar. So it sounds like this. So it's 2 bars of G6-9. And for the B part, you go to a B dominant 7, E9, A dominant 7, and a D9. So it should sound something like this. And then back to the A part, which is the first A part where you do the D9 as a turnaround. Just do that again, and that's it for the chords. Now, as for the melody, there's a lot of arpeggios here, and the tempo is really fast, but it's a fun song to play once you get it down. I'm still working on it, but I'll give it a try. So, you start up with a G6-9 arpeggio, which is logical since you are playing the G6-9. The one who backs you up is playing that chord. Start with 5, 6th, and then change strings, the G, and the A note. No, sorry, the B note. So it's the first and third, and then the 5th again. The E, and then a G. And the picking for this whole song, except for one small bit, which you know it when we get to it, is just your normal jazz manouche style picking. Just downstrokes and alternate picking, but starting with the downstroke each time you change a string. So it's, well, for this first part it's very straightforward. And then actually play an open E. Yeah, but you can play it with that E on the E string, on the B string, sorry. And then the G again. So for the first part, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second, over the E flat 9, you are doing an E9 arpeggio. And that's including the 7. So start off with the E flat, the F, open G, B flat, and the D flat, E flat, G, and B flat. And then a B flat again. So it's and here, normally what you would do is just make 2 downstrokes. But since that last B flat comes at it's a syncopated note, then I prefer to do, it's like a backbeat. So I prefer to do an upstroke on those. So it's, let's see here. Yeah, I make 2 upstrokes. Down, up, up. And it's just what I prefer to do. You know, you might have seen ska players. Like they do upstrokes, since it's way easier, because normally you might do 8 notes, and the notes you are accenting is in fact the upstrokes. So you just simulate a downstroke in order to feel the upstroke better. Yeah, it's optional, but I find it helps. And for the last B flat, you're doing a small glissando slide, like up, so just tiny little one. So you aren't doing anything fancy like that. And then back for the J69, and it's just the same as before. But you're not doing that G twice. You are jumping up to the the B, and then a small melody on the over the D9, A, G, A, and then G, and the rhythm is and up to speed. And then you do an interesting chord, which is those notes. So it's A, E flat, the G, and the B, which is like a B dominant sharp 5, B dominant 7 sharp 5. And the interesting thing here is that we are playing a a D flat. Well, are we? No, we're doing a D sharp, sorry. Well, an E flat, which is the minor ninth. And if you listen to the chord part, we're playing a D9. So there's a clash between that regular 9 and that minor 9 in that chord. But since it's fast, it doesn't really matter that much. But if you want, you can just make sure that the backing guitarist is just playing a 7 chord, or you can make sure that the backing guitarist is actually playing a D flat 9 chord. Yeah, it's that one. Whichever works best. And the rhythm for those notes, I keep going off on tangents, I'm sorry. You start off on the upbeat, well, on syncopated upbeat over the G69, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at speed, 1, 2, 3, 4. And back for the G69, and you're actually waiting. You have a rest there for a quarter note and, well, a dotted quarter note. You start on the upstroke on the second beat, on the E, on the D string, open G, B, D, E, G, B, A, G, F, F sharp, and then A, and then a triplet, an 8th note triplet on the G and A. And I'm doing a hammer-on and pull-off that. So those two bars would sound something like this. One, two. And back to the E flat 9 again. And here you're doing another interesting thing. You're actually playing a major 7 over the E flat 9. The E flat 9 includes the normal dominant 7, well, minor 7th, I guess. So it's that note, but in the melody you're playing. So there's a clash there. But all those regular major 7th, those D, comes on, they don't come on the 1 or the 4 or the 2 or the 3, they come between them. So it's 1 and since they are not accented in that way, you don't really hear them, and they don't have the time to mess up your song. So it's all right. But for the actual notes are E flat, D, B flat, G, E flat, and the D again, and back to the E flat and G. So it's the picking here is just normal picking, but there's a lot of upstrokes on changing strings, descending, which is, yeah, it's a challenge. So down, up, down, 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 and up to speed. It's, yeah, it's hard, but just work on it and you'll be golden. So. And another bar of E9, starting on the B flat, E flat, G, and then B flat, and then a small glissando again. So those two bars, I guess it's easier to hear them put together. It's so the last two are quarter notes and the rest are eighth notes. And next we have a G6-9, and we start off on the syncopated note on the first downbeat. So it's 1. And you have a glissando. This time around you go down instead of up. And then a small melody on the F sharp, A, G, E flat. So it's then over the D9, F sharp, E, B, D, and then a triplet on the C. So it's C, D. And I'm doing hammer on and pull off that. A, F sharp, which leads into the next bar with the last G6-9 for the A part. So 2 Gs there. So it's in the B part, there's a lot of octaves here, so you're doing a B octave over the B7. Slightly out of tune, but I hope you'll forgive me. So it's the B on the G string and the B on the E string. And then change strings, so you're instead playing a octave of F sharp. And on that F sharp, you're doing a sort of grace note. So it's so I want you to think of it like you're playing the downstroke on the beat, but just before you're just preparing to do that downstroke, you do sort of a flutter with your hand. Just it's like La Pompe. That's just like that. So. And then you go back to the B, and you do another one of those. So, and then 2 more. So those two bars are and you let those last notes ring out for another bar, and then you just stay on the B octaves and go. No, sorry. That's the one. So B, 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 C. And down to a G sharp. And then you do an A octave. And here you're doing triplets, but not eighth note triplet, instead quarter note. So they're slower, so. And then a glissando. So those two bars together are. And then a glissando. And now it's time for some more arpeggios, or at least one more. And you start on the 4 and on the bar before. So it's still an A7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So C sharp, E, G, B, C sharp, E, G, and B. And that arpeggio is very interesting, since you're essentially playing an A9 arpeggio, but without the A note, so you don't have the roots. So just you skip that one. And then over the D9, you have a few triplets. Moving down chromatically from the A flat, G, F sharp, and here I do hammer-ons. Or, yeah, maybe I do a slide, and then a hammer-on. And then G and E flat. And for the last bar of the B part, it's barely audible, but I think Django is playing just sliding down the G and the D string and just keeping it very quiet, and it's not chromatic. It's not. It's yeah, uglier and less precise than that. But you want to go from that B to that E flat. And then for the last A part, we have some more arpeggios. That O1 that we did starting out. So it's like the previous ones, but you jump ahead to that high B straight away instead of or staying on the G. So it's and then A, followed by a melody on the and on the second beat. 1. So it's G, F sharp, A, and then a triplet, 8th note triplet on the G and A. And over the E flat 9 we have the same thing, except you are omitting that D, that first D. You're just letting that first note ring out a bit more and then play the whole lick again. Instead of pausing and then hitting that one like we did in previous arpeggio, or like we didn't do in the previous arpeggio, but like we did in the first A part. We just do grab that B flat straight away, and then we actually jump up and do a D flat. So it's and after that, over the G minor 7 first inversion or the G6/9, we're doing sort of tremolo thing, but like that bit. It's not very pretty, it's not precise, you don't sound like a robot. You just let your right hand, your picking hand, just do a tremolo on the high E string, and at the same time you're just alternating between the D and the D flat. And if you were to slow that down, if you were to slow down the recording, it wouldn't sound like... it would sound more like... more like that. So just do that for 2 bars, and then over the last G6/9 you do D, B, back to the D, and then down chromatically on the D flat to the C, and then 2 more Bs. And then you let Steph, or your violinist, just do his or her thing, and just sit there playing the chords and feel inadequate. And that's basically how that goes. But don't despair. It's a fun song, and yeah, have fun with it, and happy holidays, and take care. And I'll see you next time. Bye.